morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. We're looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Saturday the 2nd of January. Looking straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar. Bearish start to the morning here. Going to need to see Bitcoin move back through the pivot at 29,228 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 29,741. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break through 29,500 levels and yesterday's new swing high at 29,620. So barring extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 30,000 to cap any upside. In the event of breakout, could see Bitcoin test resistance at 30,500 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 3132. Failure to move back through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 28,837 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should avoid sub 28,500 levels. Second major support level sits at 28,324. Looking at the MACDs, we've got a widening of the bearish histogram after late failure of a bullish cross yesterday, supporting the early downside. On the EMA, we're also seeing the 50 flatten on the 100 and the 200, supporting this early morning pullback. So keep through the early part of the day, move back through the pivot at 29,228 and break back through to the 9,500 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels are in play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, bearish start to the morning. Going to need to see Ethereum move through the pivot at 732.7 to bring the first major resistance level sitting at 748.29 into play. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break out from 745 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of breakout, got second major resistance level at 765.6 and resistance at 770 to limit any upside. Failure to move through the pivot will keep this first major support level at 715.39 in play. Barring an extended sell-off through the day, Ethereum should avoid sub 700 levels. Second major support level sits at 699.8. Looking at the MACD, we're also seeing a widening of the bearish histogram after a failed bullish cross, supporting this early morning pullback. On the EMA, we're seeing the 50 narrow in on the 100 and the 200, supporting further downside ahead. So keep through the early part of the day, move through the pivot at 732.70 to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and Ethereum will be under pressure through the day. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, also bearish this morning. Going to see Litecoin move through the pivot at 127.98 to bring the first major resistance level at 132.77 into play. Going to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break back through to 130 levels, however. So barring extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and Saturday's high at 134.22 to cap any upside. In the event of breakout, could see Litecoin test resistance at 140 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 139.01. Failure to move through the pivot would keep this first major support level sitting at 121.74 in play. Barring an extended sell-off through the day, Litecoin should avoid the second major support level sitting at 116.95. Looking at the MACD, got a widening of the bearish histogram supporting this early morning pullback. On the EMA, we're also seeing the 50 close in on the 100 with a possible bearish cross about to happen there. So I need to keep an eye on that. If we see that bearish cross, then we're going to see further downside. So keep through the early part of the day would be to move back through the morning high 127.10 and through that pivot level at 127.98 to then target 130s and resistance levels. Failure to do that and support levels are in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, bearish start as well. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move back through the pivot at 0.2350 to take a run at the first major resistance level, saying at 0.2540. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.25 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of breakout, could see Ripple's XRP test resistance at 0.28 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 0.2699. Failure to move back through the pivot We bring the first major support level at 0.2191 into play. Barring an extended sell-off through the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.21 levels. Second major support level sits at 0.2001. Looking at the MACD, we've got a slight widening of the bearish histogram this morning, supporting this early morning pullback. On the EMA, however, we have seen the 50 continue to narrow in on the 100, suggestive of further upside ahead. So keep through the early part of the morning, move back through the pivot at 0.2350 and back through to 0.25 levels to support another bullish day ahead. Failure to do that on support levels will be in play.